Welcome to what is our final edition for this election cycle of our candidate conversations. We're going to be talking with the candidates for Clinton Mayor, Mark Vulich and Scott Maddison, and we'll jump right into that. And we didn't draw straws or anything, but Scott, since you're sitting at that end of the table, we'll give you the chance to, give an opening comment. I would like to let candidates introduce themselves here. So here's your chance to give a quick opening comment.
Thank you, Dave and KROS and Mark for allowing me to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity. My name's Scott Maddison, born and raised in Clinton. Graduated from Clinton High School. After high school, I joined the United States Air Force. I worked in military intelligence when I was in there. Received an honorable discharge. When I got out, went to school, kind of bounced around a little bit, still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Ended up back here at Ashford University. Got a degree in finance, eventually went on and got my MBA as well. The last 7 years, been working at Aegis Credit Union as a loan officer. Love my job, get a chance to work with the people on a day-to-day basis. I live in Clinton with my wife, Morgan. We've been married just over a year now, so kind of an exciting time for us. And community involvement, the last 10 years, I've been pretty busy coaching basketball. A lot of varsity activity the last 10 years doing that, so that's taken up a lot of my time. But I also find time to teach junior achievement. I do econ for junior achievement every spring, which is a lot of fun, so it's exciting.
Mark Vulich, give us an introduction.
Thank you, Dave. Well, I'm Mark Vulich, and I'm currently the mayor of Clinton. I was sworn in for my first term in 2012. And I was subsequently reelected in 2016, so I'm now completing my 8th year as mayor. My wife Connie and I were both raised in Clinton, and we've been married for 36 years. I'm 62 years old, and I'm a graduate of St. Mary's High School and Mount St. Clair College in Clinton, and a graduate of the Indiana College of Mortuary Science in Indianapolis, Indiana. Upon graduation in 1978, I returned home to Clinton, where I was the third generation to own and operate the Delaney Vulich Funeral Home, until I decided to retire out of funeral service in 2002 after 24 years. Currently, I own Midwest Services and Supply and Midwest Computer and Consulting in Clinton. I started both of these businesses in 1985. And so I've been a self-employed businessman in Clinton for now 41 years. Prior to being elected mayor in 2012, I also served for 6 years as a council member at large on the Clinton City Council. And through the years that I've been serving the city of Clinton, it's been my mission and passion to ensure that Clinton strives to be a great and prosperous city, one that's healthier, safer, cleaner, better educated, and more open to diversity and more fun. So if I'm re-elected mayor, I pledge to get our citizens and businesses the best services possible, and I'm going to continue to work to make Clinton, Iowa's greatest mid-sized city.
Okay. Scott, we'll jump in the first question. Look at the home rule charter. The role of the mayor is really kind of not really defined in any specific way. What is your view of the role of the mayor of Clinton?
Sure. I think the role of the mayor is to be a leader. Obviously, you're the face of the community. I think it's important that you lead the council to help them make good decisions as they're mulling over the many things that come about in the city. I also think that being mayor, you need to be a cheerleader for the community. You need to be out in the community. You need to be active, promoting the great things that we have in this community, and then also listening to the citizens from some of the things that we maybe have a shortfall at, so that we can bring those ideas to the council. We can bring them to the city administrator and all of those folks so that we can define a great path moving forward. But it's basically that leadership role. And being able to listen more than you speak and help get things done.
Mark, what's your view? You've been the mayor. What's your view of the role of the mayor?
Well, the actual definition of the role of the mayor, as one time put by a council member, is ribbon cutting and kissing babies, which is not really the actual role of the mayor. It is actually, according to the Home Rule Charter, the mayor is the official representative for the city. He's also the official designated person that can sign documents for the city. He is the legal representative for the city. When we have court cases, when the city has to be represented somewhere, it is the responsibility of the mayor to be the representative. As council members cannot do it except as a body. And also it is throughout the community, it is to be the person that promotes the city of Clinton to talk about the highlights and things that are going on. And I basically also deal with a lot of the issues of the citizens that when they don't feel that they're getting their satisfaction or communication isn't going well between, let's say, city staff and the citizens, that we try to bring these people together to sit down and talk about what's going on. But the other part of the mayor's job in the last couple of years has also been that a lot of work for economic development. As people that come to the city of Clinton to look at wanting to develop or do business with the city, they're actually looking to talk to a mayor. Even though the mayor technically does not have that much power, it's the weak mayor system, but in the larger city, they're used to the mayor is the person you talk to. And so that's where I've made myself very, very available to deal with the developers that have come to town, to encourage them and try to work with them to get them to invest in Clinton.
Mark, with your view of the role of the mayor, how do you balance the time commitment to do all that?
It's when I started, I started as a council member in 2006, and a council member's role and the mayor's role is extremely different. A council member, you have 2 meetings a month, and there used to be about 4 major committees that the council had, and those committees met once a month. And usually a council member was assigned to 1 or 2 committees which brought information to the committee of the whole. So you really had a commitment of 2 meetings a month and probably maybe 2 or 3 hours total in a month that you would contribute to the city. As mayor, it's a totally different job. As far as I'm concerned, in reality, I consider this a 24/7, 7-day-a-week job. If there's an emergency in the city of Clinton, the mayor is the official spokesperson for the city. When we have a disaster, I'm the only person that can actually ask for disaster assistance. We're trained in emergency management, how to respond to disasters. I may not sit in my office every day, but that doesn't mean that I'm not meeting with people, I'm not meeting with citizens, I'm not meeting with prospective businesses wanting to come to town. And it has become very difficult to actually balance the two. I have found that I probably put 30 to 40 hours a week into the mayor's job, and I have seriously backed off my involvement in my businesses to, if I put in 10 or 15 hours in a week, I'm really lucky. So, and that's fine, but I know that going into it. And now that I'm, actually at the retirement age, I have more time. I want to make Clinton great, and I don't care if it takes me 7 days a week, 40, 60 hours a week. I'm going to make Clinton a great place to live.
Scott, how do you balance out the time commitment with your view of the role of mayor?
Sure. I agree with some of what Mark said. It is a 24/7 job because you are the face of the city in many respects that he just spoke about. I think it'd be a little bit different dynamic because I do have a full-time job that I'm at, but that doesn't mean that I'm not as available as I needed to be. I'd be available by phone, email all day long, people stopping by. Very flexible schedule, so commitments and meetings and different things that you need to be in would not be a problem. But I do think that you do need to have 24/7 focus towards the mayor role because the city of Clinton is important. The citizens are important, and if you're elected as their top official, I think it's important to make sure they know that. And then in another regard, there is a great staff down at City Hall to handle day-to-day operations. I think relying on them to do their jobs as good as they have and even better in the future, and the department heads, I think it can be very seamless and it'd be just fine.
Okay. Scott, well, I guess what personal qualities, experience, and education can you bring to the role?
Sure. I think education-wise, I have a good finance background, budgeting and things like that from the credit union world. So I think I can add a lot in that realm when we're working on budgets and things like that to make sure we're being fiscally responsible going forward. I think my military background lends a lot towards this. I kind of follow the core values of the Air Force when there is integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all you do. I think those right there, following those qualities, makes me qualified to be a leader. I've been in leadership roles, and I think people can see that. I'm a very positive person. I'm upbeat. I'm energetic, and I think that would bode very well to being the leader of the city.
Mark, what same question? Personal qualities, experience, and education.
Well, I think the fact that I've owned businesses for 41 years, every one of them have been very profitable. The city of Clinton has been literally very good to my family through the years and to me in supporting us, so I think it shows that if you can start a business, you can run a business, and in today's time, you're still in business. I think that's a very good indication of a person's ability. As far as, when you run your own business, you understand finances, you understand when you don't have money and when you need to go out and try to balance your budget or cut corners. But I think one of the biggest things that I bring to the job of mayor, and something that had been lacking for quite a while, was the ability to bring different people together. Prior to 2012, the city of Clinton did not have the best of relationship with the chamber, the CRDC, which is the Clinton Regional Development Corporation, the school district, the counties, even with the different cities around it. We were kind of just, everybody was just kind of existing kind of independently. But through the work that since I've been mayor, we've been able to bring these organizations together. We now have a mayor's roundtable for the entire county where the mayors get together. We've hired a lobbyist. We actually work as a group to bring issues to Des Moines. But two of the things that I've been the biggest, very proud of that I was able to accomplish is that when we had the council and the school district were at odds over an SRO officer, as far as, if we're going to have the student resource officer in the schools or not, the council there was a divide within the council and how it was going to be paid for. And we had joint meetings that went absolutely nowhere, but Deb Olson, who was the superintendent at the time, and myself, we sat down, just the two of us. We worked out something that we thought was really good. We took it back to our group and our side here, and we were able to get that done. We still have the SROs, and Deb and I were both were recipients of that year of the Getting to Yes Award for the city of Clinton. The fact that we were able to bring people together. And the other thing that I think that I'm really pleased about is with our Clinton County Solid Waste Agency, for years it's always been a very contentious group to deal with, because when it was set up way back in I believe the early 80s, it was set up with a weighted vote where Clinton had 26 votes, or it was based upon population. So everybody came to a meeting very hostile because, well, Clinton can say no to anything. Nothing could pass unless Clinton wanted it. But yet Clinton couldn't pass anything because if one or two didn't agree with Clinton, then it didn't pass. So basically it was stagnated. And I had wanted single stream recycling for years. It was something that we needed to move toward. And instead of the council members going out, I went out and sat down with it. It took a year, but we were able to work out a new 2080 agreement in which we got rid of the weighted vote. We got rid of the $10 a head per person head tax that existed for everybody in the county. That saved the city of Clinton right there $260,000 a year. We've gone to single stream recycling, which has reduced our landfill costs about $14,000 a year, and we've been able to roll back the actual monthly fee that residents pay for solid waste to $2. So I think it shows that I'm able to sit down with people, and I think that is one of my greatest things, is to bring people together and find common ground that we can all work together.
Mark, obviously, the mayor has no vote when it comes to council meeting. Any issue on the table, the mayor doesn't have a vote. How do you see the mayor being influenced, or should the mayor influence the council members or the council discussion about various issues?
Well, it's actually right in the home rule charter that the mayor may participate in any discussion. I have the same right as anybody else to participate. I do not have the right to vote. However, the mayor does hold the veto power. Now, for some people wonder, what does that really mean? And I will admit, I have used my veto 5 times since I've been mayor. I have not in the last couple of years, because I think that the council has come to a much better agreement and moved forward with things where we were more uniform in what we were trying to accomplish. But there were some very contentious votes for things that passed 4-3 that I felt were not in the best interest of the city, or financially were not in the best interest of the city. And basically it dealt with contracts that we were entering into that were incomplete or could have been refined much better, and I wasn't afraid to veto it. So literally, mayor does have a vote, but you use it very cautiously, because it is ultimately the council that has the decision. But my job is to really, during discussion, and there's times you'll see that I have a lot more to say than others, is I bring a lot of years of experience. We've been there for 14 years, so things that went on 8, 9, 10 years ago of history of something that we're talking about. I always think it's good that these newer council members know these things, because a lot of things we're discussing we may have already talked about before, and why was it turned down, or why was it accepted, why are we doing that? So no, there's a time to try to influence the council. Ultimately, the council has the decision, and ultimately the council and the mayor represent the citizens of Clinton. So our goal is to try to do what the citizens want, but also what is in the best interest for the citizens.
Scott, how do you, with no vote, do you see yourself influencing the council, or not at all?
I think the mayor, in that sense, because you don't have a vote, you need to be someone that spurs critical thinking to the council. And I think the council has done a great job over the past few years, asking questions, making sure they're well informed, and making decisions based on facts that are in the best interest of the citizens. And I think the mayor can kind of do that in the sense that you listen to the people, you go out there, you find out what their thoughts are on different issues, and you kind of bring that to the council so they can use that as some common ground, I guess, to make decisions, because ultimately you're representing the citizens, and what they say and what they want is important. And I think not everybody has all the information. So if the mayor is the person that brings that information to the council, I think that can help quite a bit. But like I said, the council has been great. I think most of them are pretty well informed, and they do a good job. And I think, like Mark said, he doesn't have to get in there too much, because they are doing a great job.
Scott, kind of follows that up. You have no vote technically when it comes to the budget, but the budget priorities, what are those? The budgeting starts here in a few weeks.
Sure.
What would be Scott Maddison's priorities in that budget discussion?
Sure. I think we've done a great job with roads lately. I know there's a period of time where that was kind of lacking. I think Jason Kraft has done a really good job since he's been here getting that done. I think we need to continue to do that so that we're not falling behind and we're not playing catch up in 5-10 years from now. Obviously, the abandoned houses, I know the council and the city is doing a great job as quickly as they can to get that stuff taken care of. And I don't know if it's necessarily a budget issue on that front, but more a time or a legal constraint on that. So I still want to see money allocated that way so we can clean it up. Because if you have developers coming in this town and they see all these boarded up houses, it could be negative impact on their thoughts of the city when they're looking to invest. As far as my finance background, I think I can bring a lot to the table when you're looking to kind of balance the budget and kind of where to put things so that everybody's getting what they need. And I also think it's important to rely on the department heads when you're doing the budgeting, that they're being fiscally responsible, so we're not spending or overspending in areas that we don't need to, so that everybody's has the equipment and has the projects that they need, but we're also we're not increasing taxes, because I know I don't want my taxes to go up or anybody else's. And I think we can do that if everybody puts their heads together and really has some great conversations in the budgeting session.
Mark, what about the budgeting priorities?
Well, there are several, actually, and it started in about 2010, and that's where the council actually went into deciding that we were going to use a road management program, in which that when it goes out and it comes through every couple of years, if you see a little truck that drives through town with flashing lights and cameras and drives up and down each street in both directions, it's actually taking pictures and grading the quality of our streets. And we have from that a report that shows the condition of every street in the city of Clinton, block by block. And each year, Jason works with his team there to come up with, we try to allocate approximately $3 to $3.3 million of road improvement. Now, in that, we also try to coordinate what sewer projects are going on, because it makes absolutely no sense to go in, tear up a road, and then fix it, and then find out that next year we're going to actually replace the sewer underneath it and tear out the road again. So, we try to coordinate the two. So that's the reason why some streets that you may see that, you think they should be done. Well, you may not realize that maybe in the next year or two there's going to be a sewer project in that block, and that's why that street's not being done. But that is very important. The city is committed, and that's part of the CIP process, the capital improvement planning, that will be starting in probably about November, probably in the next few weeks. I know my city administrator is working right now putting together his plan of what he thinks are the important projects. But so that's one. Number two, the council has also allocated $300,000 a year, which comes through the Capital Improvement Committee, to demolish abandoned and derelict houses. There's 17 of them, I believe, still scheduled to come down yet this year. We've done the abatements for the asbestos. Some of them, I think a couple of them have disappeared in the last couple of weeks. So just all of a sudden you'll start to see a few more holes in town. So, we're very committed to wanting to clean those things up. Another thing that's very important is the establishment of our quiet zones. That's where money is being allocated, that we're going to get rid of the whistleblowing that when the trains come through Clinton, they no longer will be able to blow their horn. That's going to cost us over $1 million to put that project in place. So we are budgeting money for that. So we're working on things that, and right now, as I call it, for years we've worked on projects that were under the ground, our sewer projects, and people never saw them. Now we're working on projects that are above ground that you can see. We're cleaning up the community. We're working on our parks master plan. If you look at what we've done downtown in the parks, in the Riverfront Park there, we have new pickleball, we have a new sand volleyball, we have a fitness court, we have new soccer field. We're working, and then even the rec center, the Erickson Center, is going to be upgraded. There's plans for that, and there's more money going to be allocated for that in the future. So I think priority also is to improve the amenities of Clinton. Make Clinton a place where people want to come, they want to play, they want to live, and they want to work.
Mark, is the city transparent enough, do you think, with the citizens? Of course, you're in the role, so you can control a little bit of that, but is the city transparent enough?
I think the city is very transparent. Now, there's people that would probably take issue with that, but I will tell you that I have people, and I've sat down with them, they've come to my office, and they're complaining about something they didn't know about. And I asked this question: do you read the Clinton Herald? No. Have you ever seen or ever listened to KROS? No. Do you listen to KCLN? Are you on Facebook? Because Clinton has a Facebook page. Have you used Twitter? No. How do you communicate? They sit and stare at me. I said, well, how would you like me to communicate? How can we tell you what's going on if you don't use any of the means that we offer? And I get a blank stare sometimes back from these people. And I'm not sure that you can reach everybody. But I know that in the last 3 or 4 years, we have made a very concerted effort to try to make things that are going on in the city of Clinton, make them known, make them available, so that people know what's happening. Now, like I said, you'll never please everybody, but I think that we've done a very good job of it. And, the council meetings are open to anybody to come. The agendas now are posted online. You can read the agendas. If you've got a topic you want to come, people are able to speak at council meetings. They can talk to their council members. I'm not sure what else we can do, except, and I jokingly one time said this about a building code. When a person said to me, well, the town will be safer on July 1st, I believe it was 2007 or 2008, once we have a building code. On that date, it will be safer. And I said, how will it be safer? Well, we have a building code. I said, but is that still going to stop the person that leaves the grease on the fry pan on the oven and goes to bed and forgets to turn it off? How is the building code going to protect you from that occurring? And there again, there's no answer to that. There are cases where you're always going to have some people that no matter how hard you try, you cannot reach. But no, I do think the city of Clinton is, to the best of our ability, is very transparent.
Scott, from the outside, what do you think? Is the city transparent enough?
Yeah, I think the council and the city does a good job putting information out there. I do agree that sometimes people jump the gun a little bit before they have the facts or they have all the information. But I also think that we have to make sure we're pushing so we are transparent, because when we have an uproar like we had with the apartment building down on Riverfront, and I know it wasn't a project that was approved or anything like that, but that caused a giant stir in the city. It really did. There's a lot of people upset, and I think more facts out there helps, so that when people do read the things that they're able to understand them, because sometimes city talk is not easy to understand for the layperson, and I think if we just continue to use the mediums and put it out there to the best of our ability, then I think the city's doing their due diligence in that part. So,
Scott, as you whether it's in your work looking at the mayor, who would be or who has been your role models or mentors you follow that we could look to as how you would operate?
Sure. I mean, I've had a couple role models throughout my life. Bill Mashevitz at Clinton High School was a huge role model to me going through high school. He's kind of one that helped fuel me to love basketball and want to teach and things like that. And I didn't go into education as a career, but teaching through basketball and teaching through junior achievement and things like that. He really meant a lot to me growing up. And to be honest with you, right now, my boss at the credit union, he's absolutely the best boss I've ever worked for, and the way he operates, the way he cares about his employees, the way he cares about people. I think I've learned a lot from him in that regard, and I think I could bring that into the mayor's office because caring for people and caring for the citizens of Clinton is probably the most important job that you'll have in that seat. So,
Mark, role models, mentors.
Well, probably the biggest person that made an impact on my life would be my father. He was a person that said you can do anything you put your mind to. And he said, never take no for an answer. Never be afraid of the word no. Accept rejection, but continue to try to strive to what you want to achieve. He said there's nothing you can't do. And I look at that for the city of Clinton. There's nothing this city can't achieve. You always have the naysayers. We will work with that. Another person that I always found that was a very important role model for me was my Uncle Steve Delaney, who was the second generation of a funeral home owner. His life ended very early at 53, but he was a person that was extremely well-mannered, taught me the proper etiquette of how to carry yourself in life, how to treat people, how to show respect. And I think that's what I try to do. I try to show everybody respect. I talk to everybody. I take every comment very seriously of what people say and what they want to do. And some things are not within my power to achieve. The mayor cannot fix everything. And I've worked very hard to try to explain that. But even so, everything that has come to me, I have tried to find a solution for to the best of my ability, and I will continue to do that. And I also will say that there's nothing that this city cannot achieve.
Mark, we kind of mentioned earlier social media. What's your view of, I guess, two things, of your personal use of social media and the city's use of social media?
Well, let's talk about my personal use of social media first. I'm a very private person, and I'm in a very public position. So I try to carry myself very well. My social media, myself personally, I do very little of it. I have created a Mark Vulich, Mayor of Clinton, Iowa page, because as another way to try to get people to know what's going on in Clinton. We're not going to get into editorials and comments like that. What I'm going to try to do is present some of the facts, some of the highlights of things that are going on. I'm trying to figure out another way to reach people that they say they don't know what's happening. On my personal side with Facebook, very little posting. I read a lot of things. I belong to a few groups that I follow. But as far as I'm trying to look at what the vibe of the city is from reading it, I don't want to get into debates with people because you never can win in any of those debates. Now, when we go turn to the city side, I think the city, and we are paying a company, Forge, to do our monitor Twitter and Facebook for us, Choose Clinton, Iowa. They're doing a very good job to put out some of the facts of what's going on, the positive things that are happening, trying to deal with and see what the feedback from people are. So we're working much harder than, let's say, we did 5 years ago as far as using the social media, because that is one of the medias today that is how you're going to reach people. And so it's still a developing process, but we've come great strides in what we used to have.
Scott, your use of social media and what you think the city should use of social media?
Sure. Personally, I don't use social media a whole lot as far as posting and things like that. I just never really got into that. If you looked at my Facebook feed, it's basically all news articles. That's where I get a lot of my news from different places. But I do see the way people use it for a lot of things nowadays. If the scanner page and things like that, there's a lot of kind of negative stuff that goes on that way. I think the city, obviously you want to use social media because that's the trend for the future. That's where a lot of young people get their information. But I also think you have to tread lightly because you don't want to get in arguments or things like that on Facebook, because that brings a lot of negativity to the city and to whoever's monitoring that stuff. So I think it's important. I think it's something that needs to be done, but like I said, tread lightly, just so that we're doing it in a positive manner and we're not bringing any negativity to the city through those outlets.
Scott, you kind of addressed this in other comments, but focus into this. Why is this job important to Scott Maddison?
This job is important to me because obviously I grew up in Clinton, like I said earlier. And I don't know if Clinton's the same place that I grew up, and obviously it's not going to be the same year to year as we progress, but I want Clinton to be a safe place for my kids to grow up when we start a family, my wife and I want Clinton to be a place that people are proud of. I talked to some of the teachers at the high school and other places, and they say the lack of pride in our community at that level is just astounding from where it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So I think this job is important to bring that pride back to the community. I want people to be proud to say they're from Clinton. I want there to be great things here. I want people to want to come to Clinton. And I also want outside people, when you tell them you're from Clinton, not to give you that kind of nasty, snarly look that they give you once in a while because we get a negative rap for some things. So I think the importance of this job is the positive side of the community, spreading that word out there, and then also getting stuff done through the council so that we're backing our words up when we talk about how great this place is.
Mark, why is the mayor's position important to you?
Well, Clinton is my home. I was born and raised here. My businesses are here. I've been proud of Clinton my entire life. It's a community that has seen some very good times and some very dark times. You know, we go through these cycles. You know, we were the lumber industry, then we somewhat went broke. Then the rails came, and we started to get the big industries came. Big retail downtown was a big area, and that has kind of slid away. Big factories have left, and so we're in that mode of recreating ourselves. But yet, it's still a town that I'm very proud of. I'm always disappointed when people speak so negatively about Clinton, because I don't think they realize that, you know, every community has problems. There's no perfect community to live in this country. And so going forward, I think the citizens, we got to get them to take more pride in the community. I think we've seen that change in the last few years, that people are now noticing that there's, you know, we're working to improve the community. You know, and the reason why I ran for the city council, it was I got to a point in my life that I thought this town's been good to me, and it was time to give something back. And I thought what I could try to do is, when I joined the council, I think I was 49 years old. So I was the youngest person on the city council at that time. And it was like we're bringing a new life to the city. Now I'm bringing, you know, now I'm kind of the old person on the council, but I don't look at myself as being that old. Now I have some of the experience that we've had through the past to bring, to try to guide, as the councils change, to try to keep us on an even keel of what's worked, what hasn't worked, what should we try, you know. But overall, I want to improve the overall pride we take is very important. And there is no reason to, you know, I don't get those comments as much as I used to about Clinton's a bad place. I get people that are moving back to Clinton that went away because of work and come back. I can't get over how this community has improved from when they left, let's say in the 80s, when we started to have the decline of the downtown and the industries left. You know, I think we've we've made it over the hump, and we're starting to go uphill as far as our improvements. And just take a look around. Overall, the city of Clinton is improving.
Mark, will fill in the blank? Kind of address some of this, but kind of, it won't be one word, but kind of keep it short. I'm proud of what in the city of Clinton? What is that fill in the blank?
I'm proud of the city council because of the actions they've taken in the last few years, you know, and I was at one time part of that council. The fact that we decided that we were going to improve the streets in this community, you know, that's a commitment to go $3.3 million a year. The other thing that I'm extremely proud of is the city has taken the commitment to go after the nuisance and abandoned houses. You know, that's a big step. You know, we have a process called 657A where we can go to court to take possession of property. We've utilized that in a couple instances so far. It's a very slow process. It takes 6 months. But there again, it took some courage to be able to take those steps forward to clean it up. The same way as we no longer are going to allow delinquent tax properties to be sold to LLCs that are out of state. A lot of these properties that you see that have grasses that are 3 feet tall are owned by companies that are out of state. They go buy tax liens, and they've never seen the property. They have no intention of doing anything with the property. Their intent is to strictly buy it and hope that somebody's going to pay the taxes and they're going to make the money because they own the tax cert from it. You know, we're taking that away from them. We now, when a property goes up for delinquent tax, if it's a property that's basically abandoned, derelict, even in foreclosure, we are entitled to take the tax cert to that property. So we're, and there again, that is a very committed effort from the city to go after that. We've got over 120 properties that are on the demolition list. There's another 280 that are on what I call the watch list that we're looking at, that, if they become available or if they don't get cleaned up, we're going to go after. In the same way, we're working very hard on nuisances. Most of the calls that I get from citizens are people that are not happy because we're enforcing our rules. And I'm very proud that we are enforcing our rules because we need to clean up the city, and we are doing it. It just, unfortunately, a person told me this many years ago. You'll learn when you get into government, we move at a glacial pace, and we do move at a glacial pace. But I think we're moving in the right way forward.
Scott, Scott Maddison, what's your what are you proud of?
I'm proud of the citizens of Clinton. I work with people every day at the credit union. Their strength, their resiliency, no matter what's thrown our way economically or anything else. I'm proud of their resiliency. I'm proud of the volunteers that have put their time in to, do the Finally Fridays and the music in the Avenue and the Bacon and Beer Fest and all of those things. I'm proud of those people that show up to those events and support Clinton. I'm proud of the people that put their time in there to bring all those great events to our town so that we can showcase how great of a riverfront we have and how great of a people we are.
Mark Vulich, we kind of wander around a lot of topics with talking about the mayor's position. As we wrap things up, give you a closing comment. We always say if you got something to say you wanted to, here's your chance. If you want to repeat it, here's your chance. If you got something new to say, here's your chance.
How about a little of all of the above? Well, first off, I'd like to thank KROS for sponsoring this forum, and I'd like to thank those that are helping me with my campaign this year. I'm extremely proud and humbled that the citizens of Clinton have allowed me to serve as mayor for the last 8 years, and 6 years prior to that on the city council. There's many great things that have occurred since I've taken office in 2012. We've talked about quite a few of them today, and I'm not going to mention them all again because those are things that I'm very proud of. But there are some things that we didn't talk about that I think people might forget about that I think we ought to just kind of highlight. Right now, currently, there's underway, we're working on an Iowa Great Place grant, which is $400,000 to work on the improvement of Discovery Trail from downtown to Eagle Point Park. We were the first in the state of Iowa to receive a $500,000 gut rehab in which we can actually go acquire property, gut it, turn around and sell it, and use the money for future to buy another piece of property. We have a $2 million lead abatement grant in Clinton right now that we're working on to try to clean up, the older homes that have lead in, and we're going to get the lead out of those homes. We've had 220 upscale luxury apartments built. We hadn't had any type of development like that in probably 30 years. We have another 230 upscale luxury apartments that are currently in the planning stages. We've got Home Base Iowa and Project Peanut Butter, which are both programs to incentivize individuals to live in Clinton or to work in Clinton. We've reduced our crime index by 15% in the last year, which I think is a major accomplishment. Other areas crime's been going up, but in Clinton it's gone down. We've been designated an opportunity zone, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because that's a very complex program, but it does offer investors an opportunity to invest in the city of Clinton in certain areas and get a tax benefit from it. We have 2 new residential subdivisions, which will lead to probably 50 units in the next couple of years that are in discussion right now. We've got a $32 million build grant that's actually in the process. I'm hoping that goes from Highway 30 at manufacturing all the way to 7th Avenue North along Bluff. I'm very optimistic that we could get that. That'll be announced in December if we do. One comment that I'm always pleased to talk about is that we have no planned sewer rate increases until the year 2032, and maybe even longer than that. So being the highest in the state of Iowa in sewer rates is no longer a fact. There are many cities that have exceeded us in what our sewer rates are, so I'm very proud that our sewer rates are back to They could always be lower, but at least we aren't going up anymore. I've worked extremely hard over the last 8 years to create a positive image for Clinton. I'm committed to getting results, and I do have the time to dedicate to being mayor, because this is far more than a 2-meeting-a-month job. It's actually a 7-day-a-week job. And also I want to point out there is no learning curve with me, because I have the personal relationships with the state, local, and federal officials that I've developed over the years. And I think that I've shown that I have the vision and experience to deal with the difficult issues that are facing Clinton. I strive to lead a city that attracts residents and businesses from throughout the region and from other regions, and through civic, commercial, and political cooperation, aim consistently to improve the quality of life in Clinton. And experience does matter. So I'm asking the citizens to please help me keep Clinton moving forward by electing me, Mark Vulich, mayor, on November 5th.
Scott Maddison, closing comment. Here's open mic time.
All right. Thank you again for allowing me to be here. This has been a lot of fun. I served my country when I was in the military. I served my community through coaching basketball the last 10 years, and this is how I've kind of decided that I want to continue to serve my community. I know it's an ambitious take for me, but I'm an ambitious person. I feel like I'm qualified to do this job. I've got plenty of background in leadership and working with people and the budgeting and all of those things that can make me a great mayor. The biggest thing is I want people to know that I want to be a voice for the people. I want to talk to the people. I want to be in the community. I want to listen to their concerns. I want to listen to their ideas, and I want to make sure that we're moving Clinton forward as a whole, as a group, because it's not just the mayor or the city council. This is a community, and we need to band together, and we need to be a community. We need to move together or move forward together in a way that we all want to see this city go. I think everybody that lives here wants to see the city be great. I think a lot of people know the city is great already, but we just need to bring some of those attributes out. We need to continue to push forward economically. We need to work with the CRDC and the chamber and those places to ensure that that we are doing that. And I also think that, and I think a lot of the council has the same viewpoint, I want to plug the idea that we do need to fight for Highway 30 to be a 4-lane all the way. I think that is a huge importance to our community, just to bring more commercial and industrial traffic this way, which I think can help us prosper economically, and I think that's a key piece to that. So I want to make sure that people know that I'm a proponent of that, and I will definitely be on that side. So in closing, I want to help. I want to be there. I want to be a voice for the people, and I want to do great things, and I want to help Clinton, move forward with more of a positive view and a great outlook. So.
Okay. We want to thank the mayoral candidates here in Clinton, Mark Vulich and Scott Maddison, for coming in today to visit about a number of the issues. Reminder, November 5th is the voting day. Of course, absentee ballots are also available. And on that November 5th ballot, remember, there's also school board candidates as well, as they've combined those two races. And thanks for coming in, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Every single day,